What if I told you that the thing you fear the most is the only thing standing between you and your dreams? This is the story of a boy named Rohan, a boy who had everything he needed to succeed: talent, ideas, opportunities, but he did nothing. Why? Because he was afraid of one thing: failure. And that fear almost destroyed his entire life until one day he met an old man, and that meeting changed everything. This is his story. Rohan was 23 years old. He had just graduated from college. Engineering degree, good marks. His parents were proud. His relatives said, "This boy has a bright future." But Rohan? He didn't feel bright. He felt stuck. Because deep inside, Rohan had dreams. Big dreams. He wanted to start his own tech company. He wanted to build something that mattered. He wanted to travel the world and write a book about his journey. He had notebooks full of ideas, business plans, sketches, goals. But none of it ever left the notebook. His friends asked him, "Rohan, why don't you start that startup you always talk about?" He smiled. "I will. Soon. I just need to learn a bit more first." But soon never came. Instead, Rohan took a safe job, a boring 9-to-5 office job in a company he didn't care about. He told himself, "This is just temporary. I'll save money, gain experience, and then I'll follow my dreams." But deep down, he knew the truth. He wasn't waiting for experience. He wasn't waiting for money. He was waiting for the fear to go away. Every morning he woke up, got ready, went to the office, sat at his desk, did meaningless work, came home, ate dinner, watched TV, slept. And every night, before closing his eyes, a voice whispered inside his head, "You're wasting your life." But the next morning, he did it all over again. Because the other voice was louder. The voice that said, "What if you fail?" 2 years passed. Rohan was now 25. Same job, same desk, same routine. But something had changed. He wasn't just bored anymore. He was breaking. One Friday evening after work, Rohan sat alone in his small apartment. He opened his laptop, scrolled through Instagram, and what he saw crushed him. His college friends were living their dreams. Aman had started a cafe. It was small, but successful. Priya was traveling across Europe, posting pictures from Paris, Rome, Barcelona. Karan had just published his first book, a fiction novel. People were posting reviews, praising him. And Rohan? He was still sitting in the same apartment, doing the same work, living the same life. He closed his laptop, and for the first time in years, he felt the weight of it all. Not just tiredness, not just boredom, regret. He walked to the mirror, looked at himself, and whispered, "Who are you?" The man in the mirror had no answer. That night, he couldn't sleep. He lay in bed staring at the ceiling, and the voice came back. But this time, it wasn't whispering. It was screaming. "You're 25 years old, and you've done nothing. Nothing. Your dreams are dying, and you're watching them die. Because you're afraid. Afraid of failing. Afraid of people judging you. Afraid of trying and losing. But you know what's worse than failing? Never trying at all." Rohan sat up. His hands were shaking. He wanted to cry, but the tears didn't come. Because somewhere, deep inside, he felt something else. Anger. anger at himself. The next morning, his mother noticed. "Rohan, you look tired. Didn't sleep well?" He didn't answer. She sat beside him at the breakfast table. "Beta, tell me, what's bothering you?" He looked at her. "Ma, I feel like I'm wasting my life." She was silent. "I had so many dreams, but I'm too scared to chase them." His voice cracked. "What if I fail, Ma? What if I try and I lose everything? What if people laugh at me?" His mother held his hand. She didn't say anything for a moment. Then she spoke softly. "Rohan, go talk to your grandfather." "Dada? Why?" "Because he understands fear better than anyone I know." That same evening, Rohan took a bus to his grandfather's village. It was a 2-hour journey. The old man lived alone in a small house at the edge of the village. When Rohan arrived, his grandfather was sitting outside under a large banyan tree. He was carving something from a piece of wood. "Dada," Rohan called softly. The old man looked up. His face lit up. "Rohan, what a surprise. Come, come, sit." Rohan sat beside him on the wooden bench. For a while, neither of them spoke. The old man kept carving. Rohan just watched. Finally, Rohan broke the silence. "Dada, can I ask you something?" "Of course, Beta." "Were you ever afraid?" The old man stopped carving. He looked at Rohan. "Afraid of what?" "Afraid of failing, of trying something and losing everything." The old man smiled. He put down his carving knife. "Let me tell you a story, Rohan. When I was your age, I was just like you. I had a dream. I wanted to open a small general store in this village. Back then, there was no shop here. People had to walk 5 kilometers to buy anything. So I thought, why not open one? I saved money for 2 years. Every rupee I earned, I saved. Finally, I had enough. I built the shop with my own hands, painted it, stocked it with goods. I was so proud, Rohan. I thought, this is it. This is my future." Rohan leaned in. "What happened?" The old man's smile faded. "It failed." "What?" "Within 6 months, I lost everything. People didn't trust me. They said I was too young. They preferred going to the old shop 5 kilometers away. I had to close it down. I was in debt. I was ashamed. I felt like the biggest failure in the world." Rohan's heart sank. "Then what did you do?" The old man picked up his carving again. "I cried for a week. Then I tried again." "Again?" "Yes. I opened another shop. Smaller this time. Different location. And you know what?" "What?" "It failed again." Rohan was stunned. "But, Dada," the old man raised his hand. "Let me finish. The 3rd time, I succeeded. That shop ran for 30 years. It fed our entire family. It paid for your father's education. It built this house." He pointed at the small house behind them. "All because I didn't stop after failing twice." Rohan sat in silence. The old man continued. "You know what I learned, Rohan?" "What?" "Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is a part of success." He picked up the piece of wood he was carving. "Look at this." Rohan looked. It was a beautiful bird. "I carved this 5 times before it looked like this. The first time, the wing broke. The second time, the beak was too big. The third time, I cut too deep. The fourth time, the wood split. But each time I failed, I learned something. And the 5th time, I got it right." He handed the bird to Rohan. "This is life, Beta. You don't get it right the first time. You try, you fail, you learn, you try again, and one day, you succeed." He handed the wooden bird to Rohan. His grandfather's voice became softer. You're not afraid of failure, Rohan. You're afraid of starting, because starting means you might lose, but not starting means you've already lost. The old man stood up slowly. He looked at the setting sun. Do you know what the saddest thing in the world is? Rohan shook his head. It's not dying poor. It's not dying alone. It's dying with your music still inside you, dying with your dreams still trapped in your heart, never knowing what you could have been, never trying. He turned to Rohan. So tell me, Beta, what are you really afraid of? Failing? Or never knowing if you could have made it?